A conversation I had with my friend as depressed the other day, I was like, man, you literally work 16 hours a day, punches some booze for 3 hours, go to bed, get up at 5 o'clock and work again.
And do it again.
Then sit there with my thoughts.
Welcome to Beyond the Beers. Men breaking the stereotype through conversation. We men love a good yarn, some banter, even better over a beer or 10. Sadly for many men, it never goes deeper than that. This show is a place for men to go beyond the surface level conversations, a chance to learn, listen, laugh and grow. I'm your host Mike Campbell, man coach and author of Amazon bestseller for men's health, Unleash Your Alpha. Let's break stereotypes through conversation. Let's go beyond the beers. Welcome to Beyond the Beers. I'm your host Mike Campbell, and today we are coming to you from the brewery at Young Henry's in Newtown. We're very happy to be here, and with me today we have Mr. Nick Bradley. Now, Nick is a former professional rugby league player, now personal trainer and coach and mentor for young boys who've kind of slipped through the system a little bit. And Nick and I have been friends for a long time now when we started working together at the same gym. I was instantly hit by his presence and I've continually been captivated by it. I think Nick is a man of strength, passion, virtue and integrity, and I always enjoy our chats, which is exactly why I wanted to have him here on the show. I think you'll enjoy it and value what he has to say too. So Nick, welcome to the show, mate. Great to have you here.
Thanks, Mike.
So Nick, let's kick off. Now, one of the things I want to ask you to start with, it's something that's intrigued me for a long time. And I'm not sure if I've ever really asked you about this. And because we're going into the tougher conversations, I want to hit with it first. I've always been intrigued with your history in rugby league. You know, we see a lot of rugby league players in the press and the media for doing pretty stupid shit a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I, know the nature of footballing codes myself.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered how such a highly intelligent, compassionate, conscious bloke like yourself handles that very blokey, macho kind of world.
Well, I guess, there's a couple of things. First of all, I'm from an archetypal rugby league background. My family's from the Riverina.
Yep.
In Australia. We grew up on farms and all that kind of stuff. And it's just been such a big part of our life and our family. My dad's from Fiji, which is a huge kind of football background. So I grew up with it and I get it. But I always did feel like I was sort of a little bit out.
Yep.
But that's probably true in most of my life. So whether it's work or football, or even at uni, I was a footballer at uni. At football, I was the uni guy playing football. And it always felt like I was one foot. Even in Australia, I was half Fijian and half Australian, and I had a foot in both cultures. So amazingly, as you get older, it helps you navigate a whole heap of things.
Yeah, okay.
But the greater truth is this: there's 400 guys in the NRL, probably something like that. The vast majority of them are family guys. They get married at 23. They have 3 kids. Their family comes every weekend to watch them. They're working class kids, and they're made good, basically. And then you get 5 guys a year out of those 400 who are 21, who get on the drink, and they do terrible things. They embarrass themselves in the community and their family, and they've got to live with that. Yeah. And when they're 24, they're like, oh, the mist came off. Yeah. So I did feel like I was one foot in one world, one foot in the other. But I also think that, you get some guys who just aren't equipped to deal with the level of scrutiny that they've got.
Yeah, young kids, fame, bit of money.
And let's be honest, you go out there to hurt other people. Yeah. A big part of it is you're taught to be antisocial, be competitive, beat everyone else, do not show pain. When you show pain, we will boo you. Yeah. We will yell at you. 10,000 people do that. They laugh at you. They throw things at you when you come off the field if you're hurt. This is the reality. So you're taught, don't show pain, don't hurt, don't do any of these things. Oh, and then switch it off when you go over the white line. Even though you're 20, we've never taught you how to control your mind or your mindset whatsoever. So to a certain extent, we throw these young boys to the wolves. They're 21 and then they do this stupid stuff and you're like, why did you do it? Yeah. And the reason was they weren't prepared. So I did feel like I was outcast or outside a little bit. Yep. But I also am from that. I am working class guy. That's how I grew up. Yep. So I get the culture, and I also believe we don't empower the people in the code to do it. And we also don't talk about all the amazing guys. Yeah. The guys that are community guys that they spend a lot of time out working with young people, working with kids. And loving their families, and that's the core.
It's not making the press.
It's not interesting. Yeah. Rugby league is drama for grown men in Australia. It's soap opera, and what you read on the back page is usually the soap opera. They never talk about the game very much. No one cares.
So how did you find it then, as a 19, 20-year-old getting into it, and maybe seeing that with some of the players? I don't know, but yourself being confronted with
Yeah.
a bit of notoriety, a bit of money, all that kind of stuff?
All those things do funny things to people, including yourself. And there's definitely a learning curve you go through. I came into the game, I guess, at a real inflection point where they just had the Super League war, and I made first grade pretty much the year after that. There wasn't much money in it, and it was just a very strange time to be an athlete. I was also at a club that was a shambles.
Right.
Senior players were getting caught with taking drugs. One of them knocked out another guy, a supporter at the leagues club. One of the senior players was threatening one of the conditioning staff. So I probably came in at the Tigers. It was like the worst club to make your debut because there were no role models. There was no identity, and I think men in groups, they can take on the characteristics of the other people, and it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to stay true to yourself or stay true to myself.
Were you aware of that at the time?
Yeah. I mean, I knew that. This is not. I didn't sign. I wanted more because I wanted to be a part of a club, a community. I wanted to be in that team, and we were just all over the place.
Yeah.
And we were getting a lot of media scrutiny. There's a whole heap of like scandals just for the first 3-4 years of my career, and it really hurt me.
Yeah.
New coach comes in, and he's like, "Let's just clean these guys out, Tim Sheens." And it just happened to be that me and a few other guys, we'd made our debut in that era, and it was a bad way to start your football career.
Yeah.
But I was conscious, like, that's not probably my go.
Can you share an example of when you have had a tougher conversation, one that you were perhaps in your head about beforehand, and then, what kind of happened as a result?
Tougher conversations. This made me send my mind way back, actually, to something that was really traumatic for me, which was my sister was diabetic and never confronted her illness. She just, and never dealt with that. And I was a bull. I was playing football, and I was like, just eat vegetables. Like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you just do what you're supposed to?
Yeah.
And I didn't have the tools that I've got now to talk to people about stuff. And then tragically, she passed away because she'd never come to grips with that. And actually, that set off in me, like when you asked me this question, it set off in me this thing of like, how do I communicate with people better? And I think that propelled me into becoming a coach.
Yeah.
It's the thing that's driven me. And so it's been a 10-year process or a 12-year process of learning how to have that conversation, the difficult conversation with people. And right now, someone I love is depressed. And strangely, because of what happened 10 years ago, I'm much better equipped at having that difficult chat. And it's weird. Like, what you think is this thing that's impossible to talk about is just like, hey, mate, you're depressed. What's going on?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm circling the drain at the moment. That's how I feel. It's bad. And it's just that chat, which I didn't know how to have a long time ago.
And so you've had that chat with this person?
Yeah.
And how did you find it?
Well,
from your perspective?
From my perspective, you have to get past your own ego.
Yeah.
Oh, I let you down. Why didn't I see this before? Why? And then all I could hear was me, I. It's not about me.
And how am I going to feel?
How am I going to feel? What if you die and it's because I didn't say the right 3 words and I'm not God that can fix everything?
Yeah.
But I'm not. It's just the chat was the important thing.
Yeah.
And then the person that I'm talking to is having the realizations on their own because they had someone to talk to, and it was really just this.
Yeah.
And I am not God. I didn't make it all happen. I just said something and sat there and listened.
So we've spoken a little bit about your earlier life as a professional sportsman, where you're at now, and to some degree, what's been your journey. But I'm interested to know more specifically around the step maybe from professional sportsman to no longer a professional sportsman. I'm sure there's countless examples and stories around it, and I've heard some pretty troubling and hard ones, but I'm keen to see your personal experience and then what you've seen perhaps with some of your mates and former teammates.
So it was the worst and the best as well. It's the best of times and the worst of times. I think it's a good way to start a story. But what happened for me was I was playing football. I played in the World Cup for Fiji. We had this amazing experience. We got to the semi-final against Australia and got just annihilated, but it was a group of boys from a village. We genuinely had kids out of the village in Fiji play against Australia at the football stadium, and it was an amazing journey. And then I was kind of like, you know what, I'm 28, I need to do something different. I had a girlfriend that I loved. I was just in love with her. She lived in England. We've been doing long distance for 2 years because I've been playing in England previously. So I quit football so I can get a proper job, like go work in finance, had an economics degree or something like that. And then we broke up. And so my football career was over, because I thought I was going to be this responsible dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And my career broke. My parents, while I'd been away, had gone into a business, and I'd lent them all the money I'd made playing football. They lost it all. They lost all their money, their houses. We had no material possessions. There was genuinely a week where my mum and I, we just had no money in none of our bank accounts, and we just had some noodles in the fridge, in the cupboard, and we laughed because we're back here again. This is where we were when I was a kid, Despite all the stuff, we're here, but we weren't because we had all these other things happen to us emotionally and personally, But materially, we were zero. So, strangely, the process of clearing everything out was done for me. My relationship was done, my career was done, I had no money, we had no home, we had nothing. It was all gone. And so I could actually start completely fresh and create a new identity. And so I think a lot of people struggle in that process because they linger on and hold on to the life that's 100% gone.
So identifying over here still as I'm this.
I'm an ex-footballer.
Yeah.
No, once you're a footballer, now someone else has to create a story.
Yeah.
So that process of death, it was truly death.
Yeah.
And you miss it like a phantom limb. You dream in football. You spent your whole life getting good at it, and now it still hurts. I still wish I could play. I watch it and I just want to run into someone, It's just, I miss it. I miss the contact.
I always played to avoid people.
Yeah, I loved running into them, That's part of it. It must be league. And so I could create this new story.
Yep.
I had a fashion label, I had a lot of things going on, but my friend said to me, hey, what are you doing? Why don't you just come and do some personal training? I'm like, yeah, personal training, that's a part-time job I can do till I get my finance job.
Yep.
And then I realized people were drawn to me for whatever reason, and I liked helping them. End up training all these CEOs of banks, and that's how I got to the next part.
Is there a conversation that you want to have? Is there something that you want to talk about right now?
There's a conversation brewing in me,
yeah.
And I think it's but I'm not certain what it is, and it's about what's my next purpose. Mm-hmm. Over the past year or 2 years, I felt really strongly that my purpose was working with young people, and my purpose was my girlfriend's really successful, and helping her to make sure that was solid and that she could have, because she's like an athlete as well, and she could have the kind of career that I think she wants.
Yep.
And so I found myself at this point in life feeling like it's a time of service, help young people, build a legacy in the community at the club that I work at, help my girlfriend, but I also feel like there's a conversation I need to have with myself over the next couple of months about what's my story next.
Yeah.
Because service will sustain me for the rest of my life, but there's also how do I serve my goals?
How do you serve you?
Yeah. And so that I think is coming for me. Maybe we can talk about that in the future. You can help me out a little bit because I'm a bit lost with that right now.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what my path is, and I feel like it's coming.
So thanks for sharing that. And I think that's such an important and poignant little point, is that I think a lot of us can be maybe stuck in that place where what is my purpose?
Yeah.
Certainly you've got purpose, right?
Yeah.
Meaning you're doing things that bring you purpose. And for me, that's something for me is maybe a distinction that is needed, like personally. What is my purpose can be quite overwhelming and confronting.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got purpose, like that's good momentum, and you can kind of go from that. I think that can lead the way.
Yeah, and there's this big fallacy that you have to be doing the one thing in life that satisfies all of your needs. So we put that expectation on relationships, that one person can satisfy everything.
Yeah.
Emotionally, spiritually, physically. Work, this one job will give me all the satisfaction and money and everything that I need in that one thing. And I actually believe, hey, I might just be really good at some stuff that makes money, which I quite like. And I might love working with people in the community, but there might be this other purpose of mine that I need to develop and grow that may never make me enough money to support me, but it might be this thing that I just think.
Yeah, but it makes you.
Makes me.
You.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where I'm at in the conversation, is the bit where I just don't know the answer. Yeah.
But the key there being, it's having that conversation with yourself.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. And slowly I'm having it with others, because I've realised, I feel that a little bit.
Yeah. So you're recognising it.
I'm at the recognition stage. Yeah.
The awareness.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Because a lot of us swallow that shit down, and you spoke about pornography, perhaps, but then there's other things like numbing. If we're just going, fuck, hard day, let me straight for the beer or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But the more we can pay attention to
and work
and what we're feeling and experiencing, we can actually
100%.
listen to that. Oh, there's a voice in me that's saying whatever it is, right?
The conversation I had with my friend is depressed the other day. I was like, man, you literally work 16 hours a day, punches some booze for 3 hours. And I don't think alcohol's evil either, but it was and he said to me, you know what my realization is? It was just easier to work that amount of time, have 6 or 7 drinks or whatever, go to bed, get up at 5 o'clock and work again.
And do it again.
Than sit there with my thoughts.
Yeah. And that's where, we numb.
We numb, whatever the method.
With a lot of work and a lot of beer or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, listening to that voice and whatever it is, and actually just being aware to what's going on in you. And I got that a lot from this conversation. Mate, that's us.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming along.
Thanks, Mike.
It's been great to chat. I've learned some stuff there that I didn't know about you, which was very cool.
Oh, thanks for my intro too. Maybe I was blushing a little.
I didn't see it. So, mate, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you.
It has been great to chat, and I've definitely learned some stuff about you there that I didn't know. So I'm personally quite happy that we've connected a bit more here, and I hope that everyone else has got something from that. So thank you everyone for tuning in. The one thing I want to leave you with is make sure that you go out into your own lives now and take some of this, and whatever resonates with you, apply action to it. Start having these more meaningful conversations in your own life. Ask a mate if he wants to have a real chat, and just go beyond the beers. Click on the link below and go to beyondthebeers.tv. There you can sign in to watch the rest of the episodes for free, as well as all the episodes of the show. Otherwise, make sure you share this episode with at least one man you think will enjoy or benefit from it. Now go out into your own life and start having these more meaningful conversations. Ask for help. Ask a mate how he's really doing. Or if he just wants to have a real conversation and go beyond the beers.